I don't know why, but it feels like it's time for a 24-hour timer challenge. It feels like I haven't done one of these in a really long time, but I actually have no clue when I did the last one. I feel like I have a bunch of stuff to read. I have a bunch of stuff on hold at the library that I need to get done. So why not do a challenge with it and have a little bit of extra fun? So I'm gonna be starting a timer for 24 hours. I'll start it whenever I'm reading and I'll stop it whenever I'm not. I am hoping that I can get it done within like, let's give me 3 days. I don't know that I can do 12 hours each day, but 8 feels a little bit more doable, except I'm actually going to be starting it today, but I wasn't really counting it. It is 6 p.m. on Sunday, and I'm hoping to finish it on Wednesday. Finishing it earlier would be great, but really part of what prompted this is I have Broken Dove by Danny Francis on hold at the library, and I have it due tomorrow night. It's due at 10:54 p.m. on Monday night. It is a 22-hour audiobook, so that means it's gonna take me like, I don't know, 7 hours to finish. I'm gonna start it tonight. I'm scared I'm not gonna be able to finish it tomorrow, so I want to start it tonight, get ahead on it. So with that time crunch, I have to read it fast anyway, so might as well add a little bit of fun and timer and get some other books done while we're at it. I don't know what else I'm gonna read in this vlog, but we'll figure that out when it comes to it. Broken Dove is the sequel to Silver Elite. I don't have a copy of it. I decided to actually go with the paperbacks for this series, so I'm gonna have to wait a year to get my hands on a physical copy. But in this one, we follow Ren. I had to listen to or watch a recap, a spoiler recap of this book because I feel like I read it so long ago. I think I read it last summer or last spring. Ren is a psychic, and in this world, psychics are hated, they're killed, they're used. Basically, they're illegal unless I don't know what they're called, unless like the continent can use them for their own good. Ren has been living on this farm, being able to stay away from them with her uncle. She's lived with her uncle her whole life basically, and he has kept her safe until one day was an incident that brings them to the eyes and the attention of the continent. Ren is like one of the most powerful mods in the whole entire world. With everything that happens, she's forced to join Silverblock, rebel side, and they want to use her on the inside to attack and get insight, all those kind of things, just to be the elite of Silverblock, which introduces her to Cross. He is her commanding officer. His dad is also a very powerful man. I can't remember how high up there in like politics and all that, but a very powerful man who would want her dead if he knew everything about her. So of course she falls for him. There's a lot of training and fun stuff like that in this one, so I'm interested to see where it goes in the second book, because I think it's going to be quite far off from a lot of the vibe of this one based on what happened at the end of this one. So I'm really excited for this one. I just need to get into it. I've had so many other things to do and so many other library holds to read, so this one just kept getting pushed aside, and I need to read it because it's going to take forever for me to get it back again on my library if I don't read it in time. I need to do a thumbnail and actually upload a video on and all that kind of stuff, so I'm gonna start listening to it while I do that and get a good start on it and start the timer. I'm gonna have to do the timer on my phone, which is also what I film on, so I can't show it to you, but let's just get started. Okay, so I've only listened to or like read for about an hour. I'm at a really good part in the show I'm watching The Mentalist right now. So I kept wanting to go back to that, and I'm also watching The Ultimatum, and I'm only letting myself watch that while I'm on my walking pad or like working out as like a reward. And so I wanted to do that, so I was watching that, and then also did some watching of The Mentalist. But also I am currently reading The Rumor. I'm on page 90, and I do need to finish this week, so I think this is going to be kind of my physical book that I try and finish in this 24 hours. 321 pages, so I only have 230 left that I'm at least physically reading one book. This one is about, I forget what our main character's name is, Joanna, and she has a non-traditional relationship family situation. Her and her friend were kind of friends with benefits, and they ended up getting pregnant. She didn't want the guy to just be with her because they had a kid together, so they've never actually dated or like really been together, but they co-parent, and she decided to go back to her home, like seaside hometown. So she moved there, and the father of her son lives like an hour away, and he comes visits all the time, and her mom also still lives there. So in this little town, all of a sudden a rumor starts where this woman, or this girl, I should say, who was 10 years old at the time, killed another young child. That happened in England. After she got out of whatever kind of jail situation she was in, it's rumored that she got some help to change her name, disguise her life, and get away from there so she can live a normal life. Now, that happened like 50 years ago that this murder happened. So there is a rumor that this woman is now a grown-up woman in this seaside town under a new name. Of course, it's a small town. Everything is going around. The rumor is spreading fast, and Joanna had somewhat a big part in spreading this, and that might be coming back to bite her in the butt. Just now is really where I'm seeing that bit of it coming back at her. The rumor stuff and everything with that starts really fast. But I'm wondering if this book is gonna be kind of slow paced, because like not much is gonna happen. Like, I don't foresee a lot happening. I don't know. In my head, I'm like, what could happen? I think she'll be getting threats and stuff, but I'm unsure other than that. So we'll see. I'm liking it enough so far. It's good. I need to read this for a multitude of things, so we'll just get it done in this 24 hours, and it'll help with the timer. Hello, I am home from work. Work was insanely busy. I did over 13,000 steps at work today, and that's basically, I don't know, just under double what I do in a day. Usually I do about 7,000 steps in one shift. So yeah, I was busy, but because I was busy, I was able to lock in and basically listen to all of Broken Dove. I was wrong with my calculation. It was supposed to take me 7 hours and 50 minutes, I think, at the speed. So I have 1 hour left, which I'm really happy about. And then the timer is now at 16 hours and 50 minutes. So with my hour of finishing that, I will be done at my first 8 hours, even though technically I started it yesterday with like an hour and a half. So I'll finish that, and then I also still need to read some of this tonight. So I'll get that down. I'm really tired and my back hurts and everything from work today, so we'll see. I probably will want to relax more, and that may mean more physically reading. I'm enjoying this one so far. It's Definitely a slower, I don't know, it's slower than I remember Silver Elite being. I went in and put that I was reading it on Goodreads, and I was just looking at some of the reviews, and I know people really don't like this one. I'm wondering if it's because of the direction that the romance is going, but I'm not disliking that personally. I think I'm liking it. I'm thinking it either has to do with the romance or that not much has happened really at all. So I don't think it's gonna live up to the first book, but I'm not disappointed so far. And I imagine the ending will be a lot of stuff happening and cliffhanger, of course. So we shall see. I will finish it later. I need a little bit of a break. I need like a doom scroll moment, I'm gonna be honest. But right now I'm feeling like it's gonna be like a 4-star read. I officially finished Broken Dove. I have 15 hours and 51 minutes left on the timer. I haven't read any of the rumor yet today, but I'm gonna at least read like 10 pages later. But I've just been doing my puzzle, but my back is starting to hurt again, so I think I need to be done for the day. So I may go do that reading now. But my overall thoughts about Broken Dove, it definitely had a lot less to it than the first one, in my opinion, and what I remember of the first one. And this one felt a little bit more fillery. Even in the book, she says something about like war is really slow and takes a long time for things to happen in war and some stuff like that, which I think led to the fact of there being a lot of filler and just kind of like boring stuff. I don't know, in so many fantasy books everything happens so fast and it's like crazy, and sometimes it feels like a little too fast. So I feel like they tried to course correct this and go a little bit slower, but it just ended up going too slow. I don't know if this is just supposed to be a trilogy. I'm kind of hoping, because I don't think this book needed to happen or like some of the stuff that happened in this book needed to happen if the series is going to be longer than this, if that makes sense. Like, it could have just been cut out and edited more. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I still enjoyed it. I was reading the reviews after, and yeah, people did not like where the romance stuff went. I'm not obsessed with it, and I can understand why people are mad. I think it just would have come off better if more of what happened in this book was sprinkled into the first one. It's hard because I don't want to spoil things. Kind of felt like it came out of nowhere. I enjoyed it enough, and I'm happy I finally read it. So, I don't know. Actually, I do know what I'm going to listen to next. I think it's Revolve by Ball Cabra, which is a hockey romance. I have my hold for that in for the library, and I think it expires this weekend. Maybe I'll even start it tonight, actually. But I'll tell you more about it in the morning. Good morning, guys. I am kind of running behind for work, so we gotta do a quick little update, but I'm planning on reading a lot at work today, so I need to talk to you. I'm going to start with Revolve by Ball Cabra. This one is the third in the Off the Ice series. I loved the first one. The second one I liked quite a bit. I think I still gave it 4 stars. Maybe more than that, I don't know. but I liked it less than the first one because in the first one they were in college and we were getting that kind of life as well, whereas the second one, I think they were in Toronto because the male main character was in the NHL and the female main character was a ballerina trying to get jobs. But this one we're back at Dalton University and I think I'm gonna like that. I liked the characters and the ideas and what happened in the second one. I just didn't really like the setting, I guess. So I'm excited to be back at Dalton. This one follows Dylan Donovan, I think, who we've seen in the last 2 books. And in this one, he gets kicked off the hockey team. Right, I just started listening to it and he said he failed a drug test. I don't know if it's just that. He hasn't gotten kicked off yet because I've read like the first chapter. But for reckless behavior, so it's probably a few things, which puts his draft into the NHL at risk and unlikely to happen now. This whole world revolves around the ice, and if hockey is forbidden, well, at least there's figure skating. We have Sierra, the female main character, who was an Olympic figure skater, and she had a life-altering accident, which led to her being in the hospital for a while, and her developing this kind of fear of being on the ice again. So she's back at Dalton University now and trying to face that fear and get back onto the ice. So it looks like Dylan is helping her on the ice, rebuilding her confidence but pushing her buttons along the way. As the figure skating world awaits Sierra's comeback, she finds herself in need of a new pairs partner. The only person she knows who can match her skill in the rink is none other than the cocky hockey player who refuses to cut her any slack. Dylan's a wild card, Sierra's a seasoned pro, but together they might just be the perfect match. I'm really excited for this one. He seems to be like a player. Already talked about all these girls he's hooked up with in the first chapter, so I think it's gonna be good. Plus, the cover, gorgeous to gorgeous character. So I'm really excited. So I'm gonna start with that one. That one I think is supposed to take me 3.5 hours to read. Maybe it was 4 hours to read. And then I need to look over here. It is Phoebe Berman's Gonna Lose It by Brooke Averick. She is a influencer and she put out a book and people are really loving it. So Phoebe fears the one thing she wants most, love, thanks to an extremely unfortunate first kiss attempt. Crippling intimacy anxiety has plagued her ever since she was a teen. She has so much going for her, a dream teaching job, a supportive and hilarious group of friends, and all the romance novels a girl could want at her fingertips, but she can't help but beat herself up over the one thing she can't quite seem to figure out. Determined to change this, she drafts up the ultimate guide to losing my virginity checklist with the hope of finally getting laid. Suddenly she goes from a relatively boring dating life to juggling 3 romantic prospects at once. There's a gorgeous new 4th grade teacher at her school, a former high school classmate that resurfaces through words with friends, and there will always be her roommate, who might just be the best friends to lover situation of her dreams. I think it's just supposed to be really funny, cute. So I'm excited for that, and that one's supposed to take me just under 3 hours, so that'll be basically my whole reading time today, or for work. So I'm not sure if I'm going to finish this one, but I should be really close, and then I'll finish it tonight to get my 8 hours done. I'm hoping. I have some chatty people working today with me, so hopefully I can just listen to my book a little bit more, but I need to get going, so I will talk to you guys later. Hello, I am done work now. It's much later, so I thought I'd give you an update on what I did get done today at work. Reading wise, I did listen to the entirety of Revolve. Sorry if you can hear stuff in the background. I am making my dinner, but I wanted to come and update you. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was fun. I liked both of the main characters and I felt like they both had depth to them. I feel like often, or like recently, I was having really bad luck with romances and I wasn't loving the characters, or I loved one of them but the other one wasn't as good. I just wasn't really getting great romances, but I really enjoyed this one. Plus, really benefits of this book and like any series of interconnected standalones, the community and the friends and stuff we get in this, I love, and seeing all the characters from the other 2 books. And there's one more book coming out on August 4th, I think, which is the final book, and we saw the 2 main characters from that quite a bit in this one, which I really liked because it's her best friend and his best friend. So we see a lot of Sierra dealing with PTSD and other mental health problems due to her injury and that experience. And then we also see the problems that Dylan goes through with his family and his kind of avoidance of relationships that could be stemming from the problems within his parents' relationship. We got to see them both be there for each other in those times of need. I really enjoyed this one. I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars, maybe like 4.5. I just didn't get the 5-star feeling, and that's really it. I don't even know like why, but my 5 stars are just a soul feeling, and I just didn't quite get that from this, but it's probably like a 4.5. I liked the epilogue. I feel like it was a different view of what the future looks like. This is kind of what I thought maybe Icebreaker was going to be, but this was like so much better. There was a lot of smut in this one. I feel like it was more than the other ones, but it might just have been a while since I read those ones and I don't remember, but it felt like there was a couple times where I was like back to back, so maybe that'd be the only thing that I changed, because it was there. I swear there was one point where it was back to back and I was just like, okay, let's get to the other stuff. And then we have Phoebe Berman's Gonna Lose It, I think is what the full title was. I'm still reading this one. I'm really enjoying it. I still have like 2 hours and 13 minutes on my speed to finish that one, and by the way, I'm at 10 hours and 9 minutes left on the timer, so when I finish that one I'll be perfect to have 8 hours tomorrow. But again, I will probably do some physical reading tonight, so I'll bring it down even lower, but we're kind of doing perfect. So I just need to actually listen to that, because I was scrolling TikTok when I got back. But I'm really enjoying this one. It's super fun and somewhat and like pretty lighthearted. We have Phoebe, who has had very little situations, romantic situations, and when they have happened, she seems to get extreme anxiety and like literally get sick from it. And she gets this letter from her 18-year-old self, because she's turning 30 in a month. Hey, like the one thing I need you to do is have lost your virginity. Like that was the one thing, and she still hasn't done it. So she is a pretty kind of type A, loves lists, loves to-do lists, writing things down, all this. So she decided to make a to-do list of things to do in the next month to try and lose her virginity. So it's like, ask this person on a date, compliment a man's outfit, rear end someone so they ask you out on a date, just like silly stuff like that. And she is slowly checking those off so far. I'm having a great time. Brooke also narrates the audiobook, so I'm really excited to continue on in this one. I'll probably just listen to it while I work on my puzzle. It's super cute. I feel like right now it already feels like it could be a 5-star, but we'll just see where it goes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that much to say. I really am not that far into it, but I wanted to give you an update before I finish it. I have read a little bit more of this, but I'm really not that far in. I have just under 200 pages left, so that's gonna be tomorrow's big project, I guess, because it's the last day I'm gonna do this challenge. I think I'm going to listen to The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose maybe is the author. This was like big, I don't know, 4 years ago, 3 years ago now. I think I started it back then and then just like never continued it. So I'm gonna listen to that one at work. I think that will take me 4 hours or less. And then I think this will take me like 3. I think I'm at 7:40. So give or take some time. I might have some extra time, but like 40 minutes or something like that. So I'm not too worried about it. Also take some pressure off of me getting a lot of audiobooking done at work. Because I felt like I was very nervous that I wasn't listening to enough at work the last 2 days. So I'll just listen to that one, which is still a good chunk of time, but not as much as like today where I listened to 1.5 books. So, okay, you guys, it is Wednesday morning. I'm just about to leave for work. I have 7 hours and 29 minutes left on the timer. I think I talked to you before I read a bit of The Rumor last night, but I could be wrong. I read a little bit of it this morning, but really not that much. I still have 180 pages of this to read tonight, so that's like 3 hours of reading for me personally on average. Today at work I'm going to listen to The Perfect Marriage, as I mentioned, so I just wanted to tell you what it's about before I go and just like read it all at work and don't give you any updates. Our main female character is named Sarah, and she is like this really powerful and good attorney in Washington. She has a perfect case record and she's made partner pretty young, like early 30s, which is obviously a great accomplishment. She's married to, what's his name? Adam. He's a writer. He hasn't really found his stride with that or much success with that, and it seems like he ends up kind of resenting Sarah because she has such a great career, and it seems like he's a little insecure. I think he spends a lot of time at their second home, which is like a cottage more kind of place, and he has an affair for like 2 years with a girl named Kelly Summers. One morning, Sarah finds out that Adam is arrested for the murder of Kelly, who was found dead at their lake house, and she decides to defend her husband, which is like kind of her craziest case yet. So I think it'll be good. I know people love this one, but I'm not sure if it was just better for at the time of when it came out versus now, if that makes sense. We'll see. Hopefully I really like it. This one will take me, I think it was like 3:30 or like 3:20 or something like that. We're gonna be left with some extra time, but that's okay. But I better get going. I will talk to you guys after work. Hello guys, it is what is it, Wednesday night. I listened to The Perfect Marriage today. It was fine for me. I really wasn't a fan of the ending, if I'm gonna be completely honest. That kind of ending is just like never my favorite, so yeah. The rest of it was pretty good and it was like fast paced. And I might listen to The Perfect Divorce, I think it is, the new book in this little series. I would assume it's probably just a duology, not like my highest priority, I guess, but maybe I should just get to it soon so I remember everything. But I think I'll probably give it like a 3.5 star rating, like a fun, quick read, so I'm not too mad about that. I can't remember what I finished with. 4 hours? 3:45? I actually can't remember, but I have been reading The Rumor. I have 60 pages left. I am like falling asleep while I'm reading this though. I don't even know what time it is. Not time for me to go to bed, but it's only 8:38. But I am sleepy reading this. I will say super slow. Super not a ton happening for majority of this book. And we just found out one of the big twists, or like the big twists, and I guessed it like pretty early on in the book, but there's parts to it that I didn't guess, so wasn't all like obvious or whatever. It's a small town, and because of the setup of the book, we know it's someone in the small town, so the amount of people it could be was a very small group, kind of like an isolated setting, except obviously this isn't as isolated, but there was only so many people it could be. But I have 60 pages left. I have 2 hours and 15 minutes on the timer left, so I will probably finish it with an hour and 15 minutes left on the timer, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna read anything else. I don't have anything I could read in an hour, to be honest. But I will finish this. I just doubt I'll come on here and talk to you about it tonight. But I gotta push through and finish it up. It's not bad. It's really a slower one, and not much happens for majority of it. Just because there's like no murder or nothing being really like solved. There is like this mystery of who it is, but for a majority of the book, they're not actually trying to figure it out. But the parts that they are fun and interesting with Michael, her partner, when they're trying to figure things out. That's interesting, and yeah, there's good parts of this, just it's not my favorite. So we'll finish it up, and I'll give you my final thoughts for it tomorrow, and we'll round up everything I read during this 24-hour challenge. Hello, I'm in the same shirt. Sorry my appearance has not been very great this whole video. I just realized I don't think I've worn makeup at all in this video, but that's okay. But I'm here to wrap everything up. I've got my Goodreads behind you guys, so I already forget what I read. Also, sorry if you can hear my heat. It is the dead of summer, but my place is cold, so let's go over everything I read. I read 5 books during this 24-hour challenge, which was great. Only one physically, but that kind of checks out, especially since I was working a ton. So I started with Broken Dove by Danny Francis. I enjoyed this one. Not as much as Silver Elite, but it was still a really good sequel. And I've been having issues with sequels this year. Haven't been living up to my expectations, so I'm happy this one was still pretty good. I give it 4 stars. Then I read Revolve by Ball Cabra, the 3rd book in the Off the Ice series, and again I enjoyed this one, gave it 4 stars as well. But the 1st book is in 1st place, and then I'm not really sure. I think this one would be 2nd just because of the college setting and how much we got to see everyone else, and that 2nd would be in 3rd place, again just because it was not in this setting and we really didn't get to see the friends as much as I like, and as much as it is in this one and in the 1st one. That's like a real selling point for these kind of books for me. So then I read Phoebe Berman's Gonna Lose It. I love this one. This was like perfect rom-com-y 2000s perfection, even though it's not set in the 2000s. It was just so good. I could see it as a movie as soon as I started reading it, and I believe it got picked up for or like sold or whatever, the rights for a movie. So I'm really excited for that, and I think it's gonna be a really good movie as long as they my light died. I'm so sorry. We'll go through this fast. As long as they stick to the source material, it'll be a really good movie. The only thing is I picture Brooke as the main character, and I doubt she's gonna do it. So, but that one was a 5-star read. Then I read The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. As you know, I gave it 3 stars. Not my favorite. The ending, just that type of ending, if you know, you know, not my thing. And then finally I finished The Rumor by Leslie Cara. I give this one 3 stars as well. Very boring. No, that sounds rude. Just very slow, not much happening. I need a little bit more to happen in my books, especially mysteries. And like I said, the one twist I really guessed early on, but other ones I didn't. It was an alright one. I did have higher expectations for this one. I will say I was really, really excited for it, and I thought I was gonna be obsessed with it, but I just had a different idea, I guess, of what it was gonna be. Maybe not a lady who's now in her, I don't know, Sally whatever. She was, this murder was in the 50s or 60s, I think. So now I think came out in like 2018. So an older woman. I just wasn't expecting that. So I think I expected it to be creepier and like more stalker-ish than it was. I don't know. It was good enough. I mean, I'm happy at least 2 of them were on my physical TBR to get those off of there and get that down a little bit. But I think it was a pretty successful readathon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Both those would mean the absolute world to me. And if you've read any of the books I mentioned in this vlog, make sure to let me know what you thought of them in the comments, and I will see you in my next one. Oh, I didn't even tell you. I finished off with like an hour and 12 minutes left on the timer. So we were a little bit under, but give and take some mistakes with the timer, I think we did all right. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.